We're here to talk about autism. If you're an autism parent, you're in the right place. If you think you might have autism, or if you think your child might have autism, you are in the right place. We are just barely getting started for today. If you are just coming in, please tap on that screen. It gets it out to more people. The first 5 minutes here are the most important of getting it out to the most people as possible. So please come on in. We'll get going here very shortly. How was daylight savings for everyone? How was daylight savings? I think it messed up our house here with my kids, but hey, we're getting through. We're getting through. How's everyone doing? Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Just finishing getting a few things set up here. How's everyone doing, you guys? Happy Sunday. We're going to be talking about autism today, answering questions about autism, advocating for autism. We got a couple hours ahead of us, so come on in. It takes a few minutes just to get everyone here, but we usually get a couple hundred people in here. We get lots of questions, so if you have a question right now, make sure you're asking it in the chat so that we can answer those before it gets too crowded. So. Hey, Sunstorm. Hey, Mr. Q. What's Swiss Medica? I don't know Swiss Medica. I'll look it up. Yeah, you know what, Sunstorm? I'm having a good day, but I got to tell you that daylight savings is brutal. How's daylight savings treating you guys with your kids with autism? Sonny, your son is autistic? Wonderful, Sonny. How old is your son? Oh, you actually dated a couple guys on the spectrum. Love it. Love it. That's great. Hi, Christina. Oh, 5 years. Great. Hey, if you are just coming in, can you guys do me a favor? You don't have to do it the whole time, but for the next minute or so, can you guys be tapping on the screen? It does, getting the likes, it does get it out to more people, and it helps out a lot. Let's just be able to get started here in just a moment. Could you recommend constipation? No, I don't recommend constipation at all. But if your child has constipation, you should absolutely talk to your pediatrician. It is one of the most common things that you will see with children with autism and children in general. And there's a lot of good options out there, from changing diet to, Miralax, things like that. Articrast says, do you believe leucovorin helps with autism symptoms? Not cures, but helps with symptoms. Well, let's talk about that. So far, the answer is I don't know. Leucovorin is looking promising, but there have only been 5 randomized clinical trials looking at leucovorin, meaning like one group has a placebo, one group has leucovorin, and we've had mixed results, but promising, honestly, promising results. The research is not yet there to widespread recommend it for everybody. It's looking like the most effective group that it helps is a subgroup of kids with autism who have a deficiency in folinic acid. But even then, the results are somewhat mixed, and I'm looking forward to more data coming out on this. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Hammy. Hi, Kat. Good to see you all. Thank you all for being in here. It's going to be a good Sunday. Guys, I have a question. How was the morning? Did daylight saving sneak up on you like it snuck up on me? I was not expecting that. And man, when my alarm went off, I was not ready. I was not ready at all. Cass says, any tips? My autistic 3-year-old is having challenges transitioning from winter clothes to short sleeve. Oh my goodness. And you know what? As soon as he adjusts to short sleeve, he's once again going to have challenges with putting on winter clothes. So yeah, my recommendation is let him wear what makes him comfortable, even if it means that he wears a sweater in the summer sometimes. Inside, it's not a big deal. Yeah, the little by little, it might not be you change all of it. Don't do shorts and short sleeve at the same time. But it's also okay to, let them be uncomfortable for a minute while they're adjusting to it. Don't feel bad about that. Self-diagnosis isn't valid. That's correct. Chainsaw, that's correct. I was not expecting this challenge. She was diagnosed in July. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Just the challenge itself of having a child with autism. I don't know that any of us felt like that was what was going to be on our plate. That's not the life that we envisioned. Lillian says, my grandson wears shorts all year long. Yeah. 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 How much does an evaluation cost for an adult? It depends on where you go. A lot of the time, insurance will pay for it. I have seen evaluations out of pocket cost anywhere from $600 to $800, all the way up to like $5,000. So you're gonna need to shop around for sure. Do you have a support system, guys? That's what I was gonna ask you. Do you have a village? Do you have someone that can come and take your child? Let me ask it this way. When was the last time that you went out and did a hobby just for you? When was the last time you left your house without your child with autism and you did a hobby for yourself? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. Probably a year or so ago, last year. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. As autism parents, we need to make sure that we're prioritizing our own health and our own well-being. I posted a video yesterday of me golfing. And honestly, we just used a gift card and went to Topgolf, me and my oldest son. And we had a blast. We loved it. And I posted a video saying like, hey, do you have hobbies if you're an autism parent? And I got a lot of people saying like, wow, you're so lucky that you get to do this. I have no time to do it. And I don't have time either. And like it is a lot of work and kind of a sacrifice to prioritize some of those things, and a sacrifice for my spouse. And then I, in return, help her so she can prioritize that. Okay. Let's see here. We got about 80 people in here. We're just barely getting started today. I think we'll end up with quite a bit more, but we'll get started here with just 85 people. If you are here right now, I want to know who do we got? Do we got people who are autism parents? Put 1 in the chat. If you have autism or think you have autism, put 2 in the chat. And then if you're here to just learn and you're curious, put 3 in the chat. Please let me know who you are. I love to see who I'm talking to, and I can kind of tailor some of the conversation depending on what it looks like here. Okay, we got some 1s, some 2s, some 3s. This is great. This is so good. Well, a little bit about myself while you're putting this in there is my name's Kylan. I got a couple kids with autism. I have 4 kids overall. My youngest 2 have autism. And I am an autism advocate. I will move mountains for my children with autism. And I am a board-certified behavior analyst. So I do ABA therapy for kids with autism. I've been working with kids with autism since 2013. And I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I'm also the CEO of a company that does autism supports. I have a master's degree in autism studies. And my favorite part of my day is coming live. Okay, I enjoy coming and talking to each of you guys on here. We keep it positive here in the mornings. Now, if you were here last night, you saw a different side of me. At night, we end up challenging some myths around autism. We talk about things like vaccines and detox and a lot of other conspiracies around autism that I like to debunk and have conversations with people. And so if you're interested in that, make sure that it's following and check in. Usually it's about 10:30 p.m. Eastern time that I come on for an hour or two, if I do, for the evening. Let me go ahead and read some comments. I will say that I'm also streaming over on the YouTube, and I promise, I guarantee anybody who is over there on YouTube, if you comment on there, I 100% will read your comment today. I know in the chat on TikTok, your comments get lost. YouTube is still small enough that I can prioritize and say any comment that is there, I will read it no matter what. Okay, you guys, let's take a look here. Any tips for sleep regulation? Oh, yes, I do. Sleep. All right, guys, put sleep in the chat. If you have a child with autism who has a hard time with sleep, put sleep in the chat. The first thing that I want you to recognize is that you are not alone in having challenges with sleep with your child. There is documented research that I have read that shows that kids with autism have a harder time entering deep sleep. It appears as though the world, how it's so loud during the day for them and all their sensory inputs are on fire, that doesn't stop just at night when they're trying to sleep. And that can prevent them from entering deep sleep. And so sleep is a challenge for our kids with autism, but it's also so important because that's when kids learn. That's when kids develop. That's when kids, when short-term memory goes to long-term memory. Sleep is so important. And so how do we do it? How do we promote healthy sleep? Well, I'm gonna tell you what I do. The first is you sleep train your kid. And what I end up doing is I get a light. I don't care what light you get. I do have one linked in my Amazon list in my bio that you can check out, the Hatch light, but you can use any of them that lights up. And it needs to, what I do is I turn it red for bedtime and green for wake up time. And during the day, we might practice. If he's struggling with it, we say red is bed, and so we turn on the red light, and he goes and gets in bed. It's like red light, green light, like a game. But then at night, it can kind of help them learn and get into that routine. Also, just develop a good routine. Do the same thing every night. Our kids with autism love routine. And then the last thing I'll say is don't hesitate to consider medication. Talk to your pediatrician for sure. But there are natural supplements like magnesium and melatonin, which pediatricians often recommend for children struggling with sleep. And even beyond supplements, there are medications that you are able to take for sleep that you can consult with your doctor about. Okay. Yeah, Z says, my son's on melatonin and yet can't sleep the whole night. Z, yeah, talk to your pediatrician for sure. Melatonin can be the first line that they try, but there are other strategies for sure. All right, you guys. Do you think public school or homeschool is more beneficial for autism? Oh, good question. The official Chai asks a good question here. Do you think public school or homeschool is more beneficial for autism? It really depends where your child is at. And I know that for me, homeschool is not going to be very effective for my child because I know myself, I know my wife, and we would not be consistent enough for our child's education. It might be easier on the child, but that might not be what's best for him. I strongly believe that our kids with autism have every right and protection to be in public school. Now, that doesn't mean that's always the right choice. Sometimes I've seen people have success taking their kid out of school and do ABA for a year or two before they start school. But I will say that that the schools, your child, you're going to get pushback. I hear every day from parents who say, keep your autistic kid out of my kid's school. They don't belong with my kid. And that sounds extreme, but you should know I genuinely hear that. I hear that from people on a daily basis that think that autistic kids should not be around neurotypical kids, that it's harming their child. And that makes me upset. So if you're considering not doing public school, just make sure you're doing it out of what you believe is best for your child, not because of fear of other people judging your child. Your child has rights. Your child has a disability. They're entitled to a fair and adequate education. And there's even research suggesting that immersive schools where there's, people with disabilities and the demographic of the class represents the demographic of the population that's there. So you have kids with disabilities, you have kids of different religious backgrounds, cultural backgrounds. And, in settings like that, there is some evidence to suggest that that's optimal for learning and socialization. And so it's not harming them. It's actually a good thing. The official Chai says, I feel it's more beneficial to be around neurotypical children, in my opinion. It can be. It can be. The problem comes if they can't provide adequate supports in that classroom for your child. If your child really needs one-on-one attention, like my 3-year-old, he needs one-on-one. He can't succeed in a classroom type setting yet, and I hope he can get there soon. But my son is in a separate class with just a few kids, and does like a kind of a one-on-one preschool at school. All right, everybody. We are just barely getting started here. We have over 2,000 likes, but I think we can get that a little bit higher. We're still getting started, and I don't think that we quite yet are at our cap of how many people can come in. So if you guys don't mind tapping that screen you don't have to do it the whole live, but if you haven't done it yet, please tap for the next minute or so. Just tap on the screen. It gives likes. And also consider if it says follow, hit that, and then it lets you give me a heart me, and the heart me's end up sending it out to more people as well. So those would be great things to do if you're able to. I do think the heart me's cost like a penny or something. And so if you don't have that or can't do that, I totally understand. Or haven't refilled. Not mad at all. Thaleli says, Italy is for sure the best country for autistic children education. Oh, I'm curious to learn about that. I'll have to look into that. I am grateful for the United States with ABA therapy. It is one of the only locations that I know of that has a mandate to require insurance to cover ABA therapy for kids with autism. All right, you guys, let's keep answering some questions. There are so many amazing schools for autistic kids, especially for high-functioning kids. Yeah, there are. I feel like I may have it, but not sure. Never been diagnosed. Okay. Yeah, a lot of times you got to look back at what you were like as a kid. Okay. I know that, look, a lot of people see autism as like this trendy thing and something that people want to identify with. Just know you can't identify as autism until you have a diagnosis. And also, like, autism is a disability. This isn't an identity. It's a disability. And if you feel like you have that, I think there are a lot of adults that do. And there's a good chance that you do have autism. Here's where I'm at with it. Like, the diagnosis that we have today didn't exist until 2013. So if you were older than that, if you were, born quite a bit before then, you likely were overlooked. Right now, pediatricians screen for autism at 18 months and at 24 months. And it's anticipated that the tool they use, the MChat screener, catches about 95% of cases of autism. And so we are very good at tracking autism now. But for you adults, we didn't have that when you were a kid. So yeah, some self-reflection. Maybe ask your parents to look at some old videos of you as a baby or a child and see what you looked like. All right, guys, we got some comments over on YouTube. I told you this already, that I prioritize. Today, I have promised anyone over on YouTube, link in my bio, I will read any comments that come in over there. As both a BCBA and a parent, what's the number one thing you wished ABA providers did differently that would have earned your trust and loyalty more quickly? I'm curious what the TikTok chat thinks about this. What has been the most impactful thing that you've been grateful for your ABA? What have you liked the most? What has been a good thing about ABA for you? Let me tell you what I looked for in high-quality ABA. Okay, ABA therapy in the United States, insurance covers it up to 30 to 40 hours per week of therapy for a kid. But the model is interesting. The model of ABA is you have a BCBA who is the clinician. They have thousands of hours of experience. They have a master's degree. That's the credential that I have. And they supervise technicians, like paraprofessionals. And it's the paras, it's the RBTs, the technicians that work with your child. And they turn over every few months. They don't have much education or experience working with kids with autism. And so my number one thing that I look for is, how does the BCBA train and supervise their RBTs? That to me is the most important thing to look for in an ABA company. Is if they're only doing remote supervision, they're probably not giving the child adequate support that they need. An RBT is going to have a hard time to learn the skills they need without the BCBA present during supervision. So that's one thought that I have. Okay, Vivir de Amor says vitamin B and amino acids for kids. I don't know, is that a question, or are you saying that that's what you think kids with autism need? Let me just tell you this, that there is no diet, there is no supplement, and there is no detox program that has been shown to address autism symptoms. There is none that are recommended by default for children with autism. As parents who are doing all that you can to learn, I want to free your mind a little bit here. And you do not need to continue to pursue fringe sciences and expensive protocols. Expensive in the sense of time consuming as well as costly. All right, you guys. Miranda says, my grandson has autism and no fear of anything. Is that normal? He climbs on things just to jump off. Miranda, yes. Yes, kids with autism, they'll climb on things. They're heedless to danger quite often. They'll walk in the middle of the road and not listen when you say no or stop. Did you know that the leading cause of unaliving of a child with autism is drowning? And they are 160 times more likely to drown than their neurotypical peer. 160. That terrifies me as an autism parent. It terrifies me to know that there are, that big of a risk for kids. And so, the heedless to danger thing is a big deal. Yeah. Yep, Miranda, you're catching on to one of the most hardest parts of being an autism parent. People tell us, oh, quit being a helicopter parent. You're making it worse. No, we literally have to be a helicopter parent if we want our child to survive. Hey, Destiny, good to see you. I'm curious, you guys, who feels like they have to be a helicopter parent to keep their autistic child alive? Say yes in the chat. If you feel like you have to be a helicopter parent at all times and never let off just to make sure that your child is safe, put yes in the chat. This is something that people without an autistic child don't understand. They can go to the playground and let their 3-year-old go play. And for us, no, we have to be right there. It's not looking at our phone time. It's not relaxing to go to the playground. It is standing right next to our child that entire time. Destiny, you think I want to be a helicopter parent? No, it's stressful. That's what I'm talking about. Cassie says it terrifies me too, especially because we live near a river. Yes. Okay, if you live near a river, if you live near a body of water, one, you need to make sure your home is secured with proper alarms and locks. Two, I want to teach you a skill that could save your child's life right now. Can I teach you guys a skill about water safety? With that piece of data that I gave you, that autistic kids are up to 160 times more likely to drown than the neurotypical peer. What if I told you that there was a way to reduce that without spending any money and without adding much time to train? What you do is anytime you are about to give your child a bath, or anytime your child is about to enter a body of water, what I want you to do is have a routine with them where you sing a song. Make it the water song. Make it whatever it is. You can make up any song you want. Have it be about 30 seconds or so that you sing with them anytime you enter any water, before the bath, before you swim, anything like that. Now, when your child elopes and they go to that river down on close to your house, and you notice your child is gone and you go running to find them and you go straight over there for that river, What if you had an extra 30 seconds to be able to find them? Well, that's what this does, because when they approach that river, their routine is before they hop in that river, they're going to sing that song. And it could, I mean, this is something that could save lives, you guys. It's a simple thing, but it makes it so before we get into the water, we sing a song. And then of course we can practice other things and work on water safety. My clinic, I'm a CEO in one of my clinics. We have 3 opening our 4th clinic here. Plan is in June. But one of our clinics, we have an indoor swimming pool to do ABA therapy. And we hired the best adaptive swim teachers that we could find. And, as part of ABA, we work on water safety. We, throw a ball into the water and work on not jumping in. We focus on water safety, emergency survival skills. This isn't just basic swimming lessons. This is like by the end, we have a goal of like they jump in with all their clothes on and they need to be able to float and get to the edge of the water. And so, Silk, our clinic is Nova Supports in Utah. Yeah. What's the difference between pandas and autism? Please, how can we catch the differences? You know what? I'm not trained enough in pandas. I need to become better trained. That's a weakness of mine that I know. You guys, I know a lot about autism, but there's also going to be some things that I just have to say I don't know, but I will go and look into it. Nikki says that water song work if your child doesn't talk. Nikki, it can. It depends. Are they? Will they do any actions? Can you get them as you seeing that they're doing it? Because quite often, and how does your child right now respond to music? Like my child, even before he wasn't saying any words with music, he would kind of like try to bounce along or sing along or do some actions a little bit. And if they do that, it can still be beneficial. Oh, Allie, we do a summer camp for my nonprofit. We do a swim with them. I'm going to use this. Allie, please do. Please do. A really good adaptive swim teacher told me about this and taught me and my family to support her child in that way. Okay. Hold on one second. I think someone might be at my door. I don't know who that is. Sorry, guys. Looks like it might be a sales guy. Sorry, guys. I think there was a sales guy. My son doesn't talk. He's 3 years old, but he sings with song. Is it autism? Aicha, that's not enough info to know. Autism is not simply not speaking. I'm curious, what were some of the first signs of autism you guys saw in your child? What were some of the first signs of autism that you guys saw with your child? For mine, we knew probably around, 9 months or so before he was 1 for sure. And some things that he was doing is he wasn't responding to your name or to his name. Babies should do that at a pretty young age. Also, he wasn't pointing at things. And when we pointed, he wasn't looking where we were pointing. He wasn't having his first words. He was struggling to even repeat what we were saying. So those are some of the earliest signs that we see. Sandy says, mine was doing well until he got the MMR vaccine. Yeah, that can happen sometimes. That's a coincidence. MMR vaccine, there's no association with autism, though, Sandy. MMR vaccine does not lead to autism. Okay, my ex had autism, and he would shut down and not talk to me and wouldn't let me be there for him. Yeah. Oh, Amanda, having autism and in a relationship, I recommend if you have autism as an adult, you're fully conversational, you really need to make sure that you have therapy, that you're in therapy, and like talk therapy, mental health therapy, that with someone that specializes in autism. User says, have any of your ABA therapists been able to attend school with the child to assist as a one-on-one aid? Here's the problem with that user. Schools don't want to do that. And let me tell you why. Okay. Have you guys ever had this issue? The school pushes back on having your RBT go to the school with the child. Let me tell you exactly why. They're going to say something like, oh, like we're very secure. Like we can't do that. Here's the real reason. It comes down to money. If they allow the RBT to come to school, they have to update the IEP and say that the child needs ABA during school. Now, if they update the IEP and say that the child needs ABA during school, guess who's responsible for paying for it? Not the health insurance, not you as the parent, the school. And so a lot of times they push back on this because insurance could come back and say, hey, this is happening at the school. If you're saying they need this at the school, that's up to the school to pay for. And so it's not as simple as it all comes down to who is funding what. And that's why there's going to be pushback from the schools on having your RBT in there. In Connecticut, it is something that we can do as long as we have it in the IEP. Yeah, Nin, and some teachers might not be aware that this is a thing, but if people at the district catch wind or if insurance catches wind, it can be something that you can have more pushback. So our BCBA needs all our IEP meetings. Attends all our IEP meetings. That's wonderful. Yes, I love that. Our BCBAs are very, it is, even if they're not doing RBTs at school, BCBAs being involved in the IEP is so powerful and important. Absolutely. Do you know a nonverbal kid average time to start talking? Vivir, I don't have that exact data, but let me tell you what I do know. I do know that if you start, if your child is nonverbal at the age of 3 or younger, and you start early intervention services like ABA therapy, and it's high quality services, up to 95% of autistic kids who are nonverbal will end up being conversational. Up to 95%. That doesn't mean that it's immediate, but there is some, there's some data there. Is it common for a child with autism to typically have some type of learning disability? So there are oftentimes comorbid diagnoses of autism and intellectual disability. It's important to know that they are not the same thing. Okay? There are a lot of kids with autism that don't have an intellectual disability. But those things can happen both at the same time, but they're separate. Over on YouTube, again, today I am prioritizing comments over there. If you have a comment that I am just not getting to, pop on over to the YouTube, the link in my bio, and you can we can have some more conversations there. Cassie says, I took my twin boys to the park yesterday. I didn't look at my phone once. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I was saying is, we don't get to look at our phones and just relax while our kids with autism are out playing. Okay. Teeth brushing suggestions. Nicole, good question. Okay, if you have questions about specific behaviors or skills to improve, I want to break down the autism journey for you, okay? Because I don't want you to feel like you have to come up with all the answers. You're the autism parent. You do not have to be the expert on how to teach your kid everything. And so let me break down these steps. The very first step is you need a village. Even before you get a diagnosis for your child, I recommend you build a village. And now a lot of you are going to say, I don't have a village. And I would say, build one. Someone commented yesterday, Destiny was in here and told us that she didn't have a village, and she started a Facebook group for her local community for autism parents. And grew it within a day or two to, I think there were 70 people in there or something. That's what I'm talking about. Build your community so you have supports. Okay, so that's the first step. Step 2, get clarity. So you have to get a diagnosis for your child if they have autism. Step 3 is where it gets exciting, okay? People jump the gun, and as soon as their child gets a diagnosis, they think, oh boy, I need to do all these other tests. I need to do medications. I need to think of what supplements and diets and all of this. And I just want to say pause. Breathe. You don't need to worry about all that. What I want you to worry about is building the ultimate dream team of experts for your child. Let me tell you the 4 main therapies insurance pays for that I recommend as frontline therapies for your child. The first one is ABA therapy. They pay up to 40 hours per week of one-on-one play therapy with your child to build skills, reduce problem behavior, increase communication. Occupational therapy, there's overlap with ABA, but they really stand out with sensory needs and helping identify core sensory issues. They can also be more trained in feeding therapy. Speech therapist is the third one. I recommend if your child isn't communicating to get speech therapy. Again, OT and speech, typically it's 1 hour a week that I see kids get. And then we have mental health therapy or talk therapy. And that is for when your child is maybe a little older and fully conversational that I recommend that. And so the question of teeth brushing suggestions, I could give you some, but I'm not going to for this one. What I'm going to say is you need a care team and you need to consult with them for your child and their individual case. And so if you have questions how to find the right care provider or who you would ask, we can talk about that. But yeah. Silk and Smoke says, do you recommend parents take an ABA training? So I recommend that what parents should be doing is they should be meeting with their BCBA on a weekly basis. We should be doing parent training with our ABA therapists, and insurance pays for up to once per week, and both of the parents should try to make it. Okay, this is a big deal. This isn't just for moms, and let me tell you, it's not common to see a dad attend these. Is anyone a dad who has ever attended a parent training with ABA? Or are there any women on here that their husbands have attended a ABA training from the BCBA? Put yes or no in the chat. Has your husband ever attended a ABA parent training? Nin, that's amazing. Say Jonah's amazing. I'm seeing some yeses and some no's. This is one of those things I really want to encourage you guys to make it a priority. If your child has autism and someone is working, did you know that you have protections under FMLA to be allowed to take time off to be able to go and attend medical appointments? So if work is the issue, just know that there are rights that we have in the workplace in the United States to be able to take time off for medical needs. Do kids stop flapping hands as they get older? Unknown Savage, typically they do. Typically it slows down and stops. However, we don't need to address that. Your child is just fine flapping his hands. I look like Brendan Fraser. I've been getting that, Marmar, and I kind of like it. He's awesome. Yeah. So I would just say, let's see. Can say a few things about B9 and B12. People keep on advising other autistic parents. So any vitamins, okay, any vitamins or supplements. Right now, the research does not recommend or suggest any special diet, vitamin, or supplement simply because your child has an autism diagnosis. I want to make that very clear. And anyone promoting any of those things is promoting more fringe science. Yeah, jellyfish feels better to stim. Why not stim? Exactly. Yes, stim. And as a parent, The best way to help your child if they're stimming is go stim with them. Go have fun. Go look weird with them. It's okay. It's okay. We don't need to look a certain way. We can act weird. We can do things simply because it feels good to us. It's not hurting anyone else. Kayla, what are your thoughts on synaptic pruning research? It is fascinating. It is so cool. There's some good research on there. It's still emerging, but the theory is a powerful analysis of how the autistic brain works. Let me tell you what Kayla's talking about. The synaptic pruning research. So what we see with pruning, when a child is born, synaptic connections are made in the brain. Whenever anything in the environment happens, any stimulus change, there's a synaptic connection firing. Anything that the brain recognizes. And so, you put clothes on the baby, synaptic connection. Lights are there, synaptic connection. The side of the wall, synaptic connection. Clothes on the body, diaper on, synaptic connection. And it's fascinating. Kayla, I'll have to look into some of those changes. Let me know if I say anything incorrectly. I'd love to be corrected if I'm saying any of it wrong. But most babies at a young age, they start what's called synaptic pruning. Usually this happens during sleep. And what happens is all those synaptic connections that are irrelevant, they get filtered out. So your brain is increasing efficiencies, building shortcuts. It makes it so that when you talk to a child, the child's not focused on the light and focused on the other things. They're focused on what's important, and the brain is able to filter that out. Now, there is research to suggest that many people with autism prune differently. And think of it like this. Right now, if you're wearing glasses, are you thinking about what the glasses feel like on your face before I said that? No, your brain has pruned out that connection. You're not paying attention to it. Are you paying attention to the light above your head? No, you're not. Are you paying attention to the socks on your feet? Most likely not. A lot of people with autism, they talk about sensory overload. It's in part, this pruning is suggesting a lot of this. And yeah. How did I do, Kayla? How did I do? So they have found more recently that there is more synaptic pruning in children with ASD compared to prior research. Oh, interesting. Very cool. Yeah, I know they've even done some studies on brains and looking at brains after someone dies and being able to actually identify some of this. Yeah, I'll have to keep up on the research there, so make sure I'm never sharing any misinformation or old theories. But it's fascinating to me because it gives us empathy of why there may be this sensory overload with people. Let's see. The prior research suggested that there was less synaptic pruning happening in the Columbia research. Oh, yeah. I'll definitely need to catch up on some of that. Make sure I'm sharing good stuff. Let's see. Can you tell me about the walking of the child? My 15-month-old baby is not walking. Okay, so for normal development, 12 to 18 months is considered normal. 15 months, you're still within that normal range. But if you're worried about it, if the pediatrician feels like it's delayed, do not delay getting into physical therapy. That's a therapy I don't talk about enough, okay? Physical therapy can be a game changer for a lot of our kids that are delayed early on in movement and motor movements. And yeah, make sure that you are getting referral from the doctor. In the United States, up to the age of 3, we have government programs to support early intervention. It's really powerful. What should I do if my therapist and psychiatrist say they see signs of ASD as a 20-year-old? Well, go get a diagnosis. Go get an evaluation. It can be extremely validating as an adult to get a diagnosis and to feel like, you know what? It makes sense. I see this. There wasn't something wrong with me as to why I never felt like I fit in or had these problems. And it can be very validating to be like, oh yeah, I see the world differently. It's a validating experience. Okay. Yalom, can you explain why an AAC device is important for children who have difficulty speaking? Yes, I can talk on this. So if you have a child who does not communicate well, one of the best things you can do is support alternative methods of communication. And let me tell you why. To learn a new skill, it requires prompting. Okay, if I'm going to teach someone how to tie their shoes, there's going to be some hand-over-hand prompting and showing them how to complete that task. Well, one of the hardest things and why communication can be so hard to teach is you cannot directly train someone how to do that. That is why alternative forms of communication like signing or an AAC device can be learned very quickly, because an AAC device, which is typically an iPad with an app that you push a button and it speaks for you, that's why those are so powerful, because if it's clear they want a cookie, you can go hand over hand, touch the cookie, it says cookie out loud, and then you give them the cookie and they learn very, very quickly. And you are not settling. You are not saying your child is going to use this forever. What that does is that teaches a child that they can control their environment, and it actually accelerates their ability to learn to vocally communicate. So I'm all for teaching sign using an AAC, and because you can't directly prompt you can't push on the diaphragm and make voice come out and put your finger in there and move their tongue to form the shape of a sound, right? Like that's ridiculous. And so since it's harder to prompt, you have to little by little shape it. And so communication is hard. Okay, for everyone just coming in, let me give you a breakdown of who I am. If you're new here, if I just barely came across your For You page, I want to know, can you put FYP in the chat? Put FYP in the chat to tell me if this is the first time I came across your For You page. I want to know. Let me give you a little bit of a rundown of who I am and what I do. Okay, we got some people. I see you, Laylee, Jen, Allie, Batty, Christy, Maria, Dog. Hello, welcome in, you guys. User, Michelle. Oh, User was here yesterday evening. You saw a different side of me. Hopefully today's a little more positive. Last night was interesting. Okay, if this is your first time, if I just came across your For You page, this is great data for me to have. It sounds like it is pushing to some people. Make sure that you look up here, and if it says follow, make sure that you hit follow. That way you can find me next time I go live. And then after you hit follow, if you have like any coins at all on TikTok, I don't ask for gifts. I'm not doing any of that. But the heart me's, they cost like a penny or something. If you can do a heart me and you can afford that, it does send it out to more people. That's the only reason why I ask for that. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. Okay, about me though is I'm a board certified behavior analyst. I have 2 kids with autism. I've been working with people with autism since 2013. I developed a training curriculum for behavior analysts that about 80% of all board certified behavior analysts throughout the entire world use the training course that I created to prepare them to take their board exam. It's called ABA Wizard, and we have apps, or we have an app, and we have mock exams. And most of, don't go and buy that stuff. I'm not saying that for that. I'm saying that I know ABA pretty well, and my work has been influential. I'm currently the CEO of a company in Utah, and we provide services to people with autism. And I just love to come on here and talk about things I'm passionate about. I love the advocacy. Again, I will do anything to change the world for my children. People ask me, and let me ask you guys this. Would you cure your child's autism? Yes or no? If you could you cure your child's autism? And this is a touchy thing. Look, guys, I'm not going to judge either way. I definitely have thoughts on it, but would you cure your child's autism? And I look at this, and I've had days where that answer is yes. But I would say no. My answer is no. I would not take away my child's autism. Autism is what makes them them. Like, my son is beautiful, and the way that his mind works is beautiful. But I'm going to give a little bit of I think we're all saying the same thing, because what I will say is I would cure some of the struggles that he has to not be able to communicate adequately when I know that he has a lot that he wants to say. I would cure how loud the world feels to him. And you could say that's the same thing as saying you'd cure autism. And that's fair. That's fair. But autism, I mean, it's who he is. And I would say that a big part of why I'm on here is because I would, more than anything, cure how harsh the world is to him and how difficult it is for kids with autism to thrive in this world. And that's why I come on here. I'm not on here to sell stuff. I just enjoy building this village and building this advocacy platform so that I can have an impact on the world. That's what I'm doing here. And so if you feel like you can support that cause, if you can feel like you can be there, please hop on these lives, be tapping the screen, hitting like, make sure you're following me and all of that. I've been an RBT for over 2 years now. I've loved watching my kiddos grow and thrive using ABA. Thank you, Karina, for the work you're doing as an RBT. You guys, it is National Women's Day today. Did you know that? Did you know it's National Women's Day? I need to have a conversation about this. It's something you will hear me talk a lot about. But I don't think a lot of people realize how unfair the autism world is to women. And I'm going to start off by saying I think it's unfair for women to bear the bulk of the blame from society that their children has autism. I think that is unfair. It's unfair to say that during pregnancy you took Tylenol and it caused autism. That's not true. It's unfair to say you, as the mother, gave your child too much screen time and therefore your child has autism. It's not true, and it's unfair. You protected your child by getting them vaccinated, and yet you caused their autism. I talked to a mother just the other day who said that her husband blames her for not being a good enough mother that 3 of her kids have autism. For all of the mothers listening here, I need you to hear me very clearly that you did not cause your child's autism. Autism is genetic. And in fact, there are risk factors indicating the father contributes to this. It is a very powerful risk factor that the age of the father at conception over the age of 40 increases the risk. And any risk factors that have been identified beyond genetic are outside of your control. You did not cause this. You did not cause this. And I want to wipe away any guilt that you may be carrying about that. It is unfair. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, you guys. Not only do we blame the mothers, but do you know who it is that works in the autism industry? In the field of autism, with kids with autism, with the highest needs? Who is it that works with people with autism? It is mostly women. It is mostly women. Almost all special education teachers are women. Almost all BCBAs doing ABA therapy are women. Most RBTs doing ABA are women. Most occupational therapists are women. Most speech therapists are women. And what really frustrates me is right now society says women caused autism. Women will work with kids with autism because they have a good heart, but we don't have to pay them very much. And that is what really bothers me. Is not only do they blame women for this happening, but they create a system that makes it so women work in that space, but do so out of the goodness of their hearts and not because it makes money at all. Look, more than anything, I just want to say thank you to the women who are here, who are doing the most for the children that are the most vulnerable. I'm grateful for you. I see you. And I wish that more mothers could receive compensation for taking care of their children, their own children with autism. I wish that teachers and behavior analysts and people who work with people with autism could make twice the amount of money that they make right now. That's where I'm at, you guys. That's where I'm at. All right, what other questions do we have? Let me come on over here. Twin Boys Mama over on YouTube. Again, you guys, I am answering every single comment. I am reading any comment that is going over onto YouTube because we have a much smaller following over there. Just make sure you're subscribed over there. Over on YouTube, Twin Boys Mama says pediatrician is reluctant to refer for ASD assessments because she believes they're just boys and delayed due to prematurity. My gut tells me it's more. How do I stand my ground and advocate better? Twin Boys Mama, shame on that pediatrician. A pediatrician, when we are experiencing delays in our child, a pediatrician who says boys will be boys, they're going to develop, that is harmful. I've talked to many pediatricians about this. And you know, the good ones agree. Pediatricians have to do, how old is your child, Twin Boys Mama? How old are your twins? Are they 18 months or older? I recommend that you do the MChat and you get a score for your child. And if they have high risk or moderate risk, I want you to go and outside your pediatrician, go on and consult with a psychologist. You guys, we fear the autism label too much. I talked to a lady yesterday who told me my grandchild I don't think has autism, but they're looking at getting him diagnosed, and I'm just scared that he's gonna have that label the rest of his life. And I think I kind of shocked her a little bit because I asked her, what's wrong with the label of autism? Why does it matter if they have a label of autism? Why would that harm the child? And I think what was once stigmatized to have a diagnosis of autism as a label, it's not like that anymore, you guys. Just like I am open to say I have anxiety. Yeah, Eden, it is a social stigma and we need to change it. I totally agree. And that's part of what I'm trying to do here because like there's still stigma around saying you have anxiety or depression. And that more and more is just common. Like it happens and it's great. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't change how I should look at you. And autism is becoming more and more the same way. We're removing that stigma. We are removing that stigma. And there are times you don't share it. If you're an adult with autism, absolutely do not tell your child or do not tell your employer when they are interviewing you that you have autism or any disability. Legally, they are not allowed to discriminate against you for, oh man, sorry guys. Gotta fix this. There we go. All right, we got it. Hey, Lexi, good to see you. So legally, they can't discriminate against you if you have autism. And so why tell them in the job interview? Let me tell you what happens in a job interview. They can't say you don't get this job because you have autism. They will find a different reason to say that you don't have the job, but it will be because you have autism. And so don't reveal it. There is still a stigma in the workplace. Don't reveal it in the interview. But once you have the job, they can't fire you for it. And they actually have to provide reasonable accommodations to make you successful at your job. So we have some more comments over on YouTube, you guys. Let's see here. Yeah, so many parents have a hang up about that. I just want to make sure he gets all the help he needs regardless. Lillian, I love that. I love that. Twin Boys Mama, they're 4. Oh my gosh. Oh, no. They're born prematurely, which by itself is a risk factor of autism. And your pediatrician probably didn't know that. Yeah, you need to go do the MChat for your children, twin boys mama. If they have high or moderate needs, then I need you to call a psychologist and get them evaluated as soon as possible. If they have autism, that pediatrician has failed you. Egg says, my son was 2 weeks late. Yeah. When I bring up risk factors, you don't have to have any of those risk factors to have autism. Autism is 90% genetic, but there are some risk factors that we know that contribute to autism. All right. What other questions do we have, everybody? Yeah, it's seriously so hard to hold down a job. Okay, again, utilize those accommodations. If you could go to your HR and you phrase it like this is what I want you to say. Go to HR and say, hi, HR, I need to address something that will help me be able to do my job better. I am diagnosed with autism, and I would like to request reasonable accommodations for my job. And I want to work with you on what those accommodations look like. One of those is that I have bad days. And up to 2 times a month, I'm not going to be able to come into work, and I need some flexibility. Now, I know I won't get paid for those days, but to be successful at this job, I need your understanding of that and planning for that. And they will likely say, okay, go talk to your doctor and have them sign off on it, and you do that, and then you're good to go. But you really need to look at what's going to make you successful at your job. What support do you need? And what accommodation could help? It has to be reasonable. Yeah, Angie says, my husband did that for our son. He has bad days, and my husband spoke to HR about flexibility. Yes, so this applies also not just under ADA for your own disability, but it also applies under FMLA for you as an autism parent. And so if you have... Guys, that's something we don't talk about enough. Oh my gosh, I need to do videos about this. So something you guys might not know is that for a few years, I was the HR director. I was the head of HR for a company that had 3,000 employees. And I understand FMLA really well and the rights that you have as a parent with a child with disabilities. Under FMLA, you get time off each year. Now, it's not paid time off, but they're not allowed to demote you. They're not allowed to penalize you. They're not allowed to withhold advancements or raises from you. And if there's reasonable accommodations to be able to, not even reasonable accommodations, if your child has a healthcare need that you have to go regularly support, they need to allow for that. Christina, well done. You just applied for FMLA for my company. Yeah. So, your employer wants you to succeed. You know, when I was the HR director, when people would come with that, I didn't see them as the enemy. They weren't bad for doing that. They were good because they wanted to sort things out preemptively so that they could be successful in their job. And so what that does is it lets the employer prepare and make plans so that that you can be successful. There are laws protecting you. And you know what? If you get fired or demoted or they refuse to comply with these laws, you have incredible protections and huge potential for lawsuits if that is violated. All right. Katie says, how do I go about judgment from family members judging my helicopter parenting? My son is 4 and level 1 autistic. He elopes sometimes and has no sense of danger. Katie, oh my gosh. You guys, if you're an autism parent, tell me in the chat, put yes in the chat if you felt family members judging you for your child's autism. Put yes in the chat if you have felt your family's judgment because your child has autism. Over on TikTok, it is flooding with yes. It is flooding with yes. Look, it is so normal to have family who don't understand. And a lot of times it comes in like passive ways. What are some of the things that your family has said to you that they didn't think was judgment, but to you it felt like judgment. I'll go first. My when family hears about our kids having autism, they say things like, he doesn't look autistic, or he just acts like a normal kid to me. And for them, they're making it sound like they love him no matter what, and he is normal. But what you're doing is they're judging. They're saying that like autism is bad and he doesn't have autism, he looks normal. They're questioning the reality of the diagnosis. Let's see some other ones. Oh, yeah. Emily says he just needs a whooping. Oh, my gosh. Guys, don't spank your kids, especially your kids with autism. Don't spank any of your kids, though. That's one I won't argue with people on this one. I really want to, though. Man, the impacts of spanking your kids, it can be detrimental. Oh, they'll grow out of it. Yes. Okay. That's another one that we hear all the time. They'll grow out of it. It's because to them, autism means something different. Yeah. You don't let him do anything. No, I don't let him do things that will trigger him. Yeah. Guys, look, my biggest advice, if you're worried about your family judging you for being a helicopter parent, is you need to let them know how serious things are for your child. You can let him know, like, hey, look, he has autism. He runs away. Kids with autism are 160 times more likely to drown than their neurotypical peer. Unfortunately, like, this is the reality of autism parenting. This is why I'm so exhausted. I don't want to be a helicopter parent, but I have to be. And if they want to judge you, they can judge you. And you can also pick who takes care of your child. And if there's a parent or a family member who is urging you to whoop or spank your child, or if they're urging you to not be such a helicopter parent to your autistic child, then those are the people you are not going to want to help take care of your child. After told about it, my neighbor said, "Can't you just tell him to stop?" Okay, guys, I need to confess something. My children, my two kids with autism, they don't understand no. And I'm a BCBA. I'm a board certified behavior analyst, and I have yet to be able to effectively teach them to respond to no. My daughter, who's almost 2, she's the worst. You say no to her, or if you reprimand, I try to change like what my face looks like. Even if I think something's funny, but I want her to stop, I'll go, no, don't do that. And she laughs. She giggles. She thinks it's funny, and then she's more likely to do it. And so, man, it is hard. It is hard. Oh, Lexi, yes, he has too much screen time. Oh my gosh. I hate that one. Lillian over on YouTube. Again, I am prioritizing comments coming in on YouTube today. So if you comment over there, I will for sure answer. They seem to think that they outgrow it when they get older. Yes, they think it's something that can be outgrown. Yeah. I always hate it when you tell someone that your child has autism, and their first approach is to tell you, or to ask you, investigate you all about your parenting. And you see them thinking, and you know what they're thinking. But yeah, you say like, hey, yeah, my kid just got diagnosed with autism. And they say, oh, hey, random question. Do you vaccinate your kids? It's like, oh yeah, a real random question there. Okay, thank you. And I say, yeah, yes, they're vaccinated. Okay, yeah, we don't vaccinate ours. I notice you have screen time with your kid. How much screen time do they get? Like, yeah, he watches. He's probably on there a couple hours a day. Oh yeah, we don't allow that here. Yeah, just random question. Yes, all of that, you guys. they make it try to sound like they're not questioning it, but really what they're saying is you caused this to happen with your child. Yeah, I can go more into screen time. So screen time. You guys, I have a question for you. Who here restricts their autistic child's screen time? And I'm like, there's so many ways to do this. I'm not mad. I'm just curious. Yes or no? Do you restrict your child's screen time? No judgments here. No judgments. Heck no. Kind of yes. No way. A little bit. No. I don't. She uses it to communicate. Nope. I turn on educational stuff and it runs all day long. No. Guys, I don't want anyone with a child with autism to feel guilty for the screen time usage. I do not recommend typically an approach of like limiting the number of hours that your autistic child uses the screen. However, I do recommend filling their day with more social activities. And so we're not focusing on don't do this. We're focusing on we're going to do this other thing that engages you. That's why, 30 hours a week of ABA therapy is incredible because they get one-on-one attention with someone engaged with them, where screen time isn't needed. And when you do that approach, your kid's not going to be watching screens for 6 hours a day. My kid, he's gone at school or ABA all day and he gets back at 4 p.m. He has 4 hours to eat dinner, to relax, to hang out before bedtime. And yeah, we usually have a show turned on during that time. And the more restricted you get, if you start telling your kid, okay, you have 1 hour per day, then you're going to have so many problems around screens. And then you go to a neighbor's house and they have a screen there. And your kid is going to be the one who's trying to grab it out of their hands because they can never have a screen of their own. But again, however you're doing it, just know that the screen time usage did not cause autism. We do know that excessive screen time can decrease socialization. There can be side effects of too much screen time. There can also be benefits of screen time, especially if they're watching it with another person that is an active participant. So you're watching Miss Rachel and you're singing along with them and participating. It can actually increase learning. And so you're doing great. And I just don't want you to over stress about the screen time stuff. Yeah. But then again, it really bothers me this new label people give virtual autism because it makes it sound like it makes it connected to autism, where they're not saying it's really causing autism. They're not saying that. People who say screen time causes virtual autism, they're just trying to scare parents is what they're doing. They're like, you don't want your kid to be autistic, do you? Screen time is virtual autism. And that's just kind of harmful language, and it can imply that screens have something to do with autism. So I'd avoid doing that. That's not a standard diagnosis. You guys, we are going to get some questions up here. If you have a question, I'm going to be accepting guest requests now. Let me go ahead and change the settings so more people can see it. But if you have a question for me, is mostly what we're doing right now. If you're an autism parent and you have a question, please request up. Let's have some good conversations, some good support. We still got time. And while we're doing this, while we're getting more people up here, if you guys don't mind, we have 28,000 likes. And I would love to bump that up. I think by the end of the live, we should have over 50,000. That'd be amazing. So please tap on the screen. Share the live if you can. And if you're new here, hit follow up at the top of the screen there to make sure that you can find me next time I go live. All right, let's bring some people up. We got a lot of people. Destiny and Lexi, can I have you guys come up and after we answer a couple questions, I'll have you guys come up. Okay, the Angry Collector. Hello. Where are you from?
Collector.
I'm from Oregon.
Where are you from?
Oh, you got. Oh no, you got a really bad echo. So if you want to request back in, you can. Hey, Lexi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Well, I'm good. Where are you from?
I'm from Colorado.
Oh, amazing. And do you
Yeah.
have any connection to autism?
Yes, so my 6-year-old son was diagnosed autistic at 3. And then I believe me and my husband both think he's autistic too. He's just not
How old
diagnosed.
is he?
He's 37.
Okay. Oh, think that your husband is.
Yes, my
Oh,
husband,
got
but
it.
my son is 6 years old and he was diagnosed at 3.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
What question do you got for me today?
So, I mean, I don't even know if you would know this. I hope you would, but so we don't apply for like SSI, so we don't get Medicaid. So my son has, see, and I get emotional, but my son has been out of like therapy and stuff because we just can't afford it because of my husband's income. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and we've tried like wait like the buy-in waivers and like stuff like that, but it's just giving us such a hard time. Do you know anything else like about anything like that?
Yeah. Um.
And I've done like all my part of being a mom, like my son, he couldn't talk until
So
he was 4.
yeah.
And so I literally now he's talking in 3 to 4 word sentences and like so I've done my part, but it's just he thrives on therapy. He was in therapy for like 6 months and he was thriving.
Yeah.
And now it's just a whole difference, it's a turnaround.
Yeah. Um. You're gonna have to. So, are you wondering? You say you don't have any SSI. Is that what you're saying? You or
Yeah,
Medicaid?
we don't have
Okay.
no because we don't get approved of it because my husband's income.
And you're seeing a regression in your son. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I know, and it's the
Do you have health
worst.
insurance?
Yes, we do have Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay. And so currently, you said he did therapy for a while, but he's not in any therapies right now.
Yeah, no, we just couldn't afford it, even with like the insurance we have.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little secret. Um, for ABA therapy,
Mm-hmm.
if your child can do a consistent amount of hours, like over 20 hours a week, um, your max out of pocket, what do you think your max out of pocket is? Do you know? Is it like 8,000?
Um, Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm the stay-at-home
Yeah.
mom with 3
No,
kids.
that's
I'm
okay.
like, I
That's
don't
okay. That's
know.
okay. A lot of these. So the way it works is with these therapies, insurance will pay for all of it as soon as you pay for your max out of pocket. Now, what's interesting is that is a very small percentage of
Mhm.
what an ABA company is going to bring in. What insurance pays them is really the money that they're looking for. But legally, they have to send you a bill. And so, my recommendation is get your kid into ABA therapy, but call around because ABA
Okay.
therapy, there are so many people that can do it. And just say, like, hey, look, we cannot afford to pay a penny of our patient responsibility. I'm looking for somewhere that has a financial aid program. And what a lot of companies do is you can't just not bill somebody, but what you can do is a company can put financial aid assistance into their business. And most ABA companies have this. In other words, the ABA company wants to serve your child, and they're happy to do it without you paying your portion a lot of the time. But you have to do
Okay.
it the right way to make that happen. And so the right words to say with that is you go and you call ABA companies and you say, "Hey, look, we're looking for an ABA provider. We want to do this long term." They want to hear what they want to hear is that you're going to stick with them for a while and that you want to do quite a few hours. And so if you say both of those things and then you say we just cannot afford to pay any of our patient responsibility, uh, you are going to find one that will waive it for you. And
Oh,
and at first, what they're going to
okay.
say is like, "Oh yeah, we can put you on a payment plan." And what your response to that is like, "Well, like I don't even think I can meet the payment plan options. I'm really
Mhm.
looking for someone who can cover the cost of patient responsibility." And don't be afraid to say that. Call around and see if there's anyone that will do that for you.
Okay.
Because that regression,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's heartbreaking to see.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. It was so hard even like to get him on an IEP at school. And I'm like, how don't you guys see this? Like, oh, it's just been so rough on
uh,
me. My husband works so much, so it's like all on me, you know?
you don't have a village, it sounds like.
Yeah, my mom helps me a lot, but
Yeah.
she helps me like watch my other kids so I could like literally concentrate on his name's Cash, so Cash.
How old are your other two kids?
A 3-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Um, look,
And
it.
then like we just got him like potty trained midly. Like he still has some
Wow.
accidents.
Holy
Yeah, which
cow.
is oh,
That's huge.
we've been
What?
celebrating like it's a circus here.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Yes. So we finally
Wow.
got him decently potty trained. But my 3-year-old now is like, oh, I want to do exactly what Cash did. And I'm like, oh no, please, you could go potty. Don't wait till 6, please.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, don't wait till 6. Don't wait till 6. And but you know what? There's no shame. There's no shame in a kid waiting to be potty trained. Like we as society, we judge it so hard and we don't need to be doing that.
Yeah.
But what are the specific regressions you're seeing with your son right now? Is it communication that you're seeing going down?
No, it's not communication. It's like more of like the meltdowns. Like he has a lot more meltdowns and I guess with like meltdowns are like doing stuff for himself. Like before he was able to at least dress himself, it would be like backwards, you know, and
Yeah.
stuff. But like stuff like that, and he's like, I can't do it, or like he just has meltdowns all the time.
I want to reassure you of something. Regression, so development isn't linear. That
Mhm.
you can especially with kids with autism, you can be developing and then you kind of go down, but it's rare to see it stay down. It kind of goes up and down as so long as you're providing the good support. So I want to tell you that this is a difficult season for you, but
Yeah.
the season is going to change and there's going to be wins right around the corner for you and your son. And like you're gonna, 3 years from now look back and be like, oh my gosh, look at where he was when he was 6, and now that he's 9, look how far he's come. And that is
Yeah.
going to happen. I promise you, that's going to
Oh,
happen.
thank you.
And that it doesn't make it easier right now, but hopefully it gives you some hope. Like as long as you are doing all the things that you need to do, and it's very basic. Don't overthink this. It's a lot. You talk about being overwhelmed. Like
Oh,
I'm right
yeah.
there with you. It's overwhelming. Did you say your husband is working full time and out of the
Yeah,
house a
he
lot?
works. Yeah, he does. He's a manager at Coca-Cola.
Okay.
And so he works a lot. He's the first one in and the last one out. And it's just, so I'm doing like
Holy
all the
cow.
meetings and all the doctor stuff. And my son just had eye surgery too. And it's like doing that. And, it's just a lot dealing with school because of attendance, because of the eye surgery. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's a lot. And
It is.
and even if your husband is working, is he contributing when he gets home though?
Um, I mean, sometimes.
Okay. I am what I am hearing right now is a mom that's overworked, a mom that's on the
Oh,
verge of burnout. And I want to show you something that I have, and it's something that my wife and I decided to do together.
okay,
But
yeah.
we bought this deck of cards called Fair Play, and because I'm busy too. I'm a CEO of a company, right? Like
Yeah.
I need to work a lot, but I also like the mental load for a mother uh, to not only like run the home but take care of the kids, but add on top of that taking care of a kid with disabilities. We need to be very intentional about who is carrying what mental load in a home. And these cards, what you do is you go through them, and it's like, okay, and it helps us visualize who is over what. Yeah, you might be at home all day, and your husband might be at work all day, but that doesn't change the fact that there's mental load that needs to happen, and a lot of it can happen while they're at work, that they carry those mental loads. So things like who who helps kids with their homework and getting projects and school supplies. That's something you got to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Medical and healthy living. Who is over the kids and making sure that their medical needs are met? That's a big one. What about morning routine? Who helps kids in the morning get ready for the day? So it's a lot of these things that, if the higher up you are as well, like if he's a manager at Coca-Cola, I don't know if there's like the next step above, but it's kind of the sad thing that the higher you go, the more flexible you can have. And where he has a child with disabilities, FMLA definitely applies. That he could ask for a late start to help with some things. And I want to invite you to look at what is burning you out and see if there is a way to shift mental load around the home in a safe and open dialogue. But
Yes, that's exactly what I need.
yes,
I
yes,
am like so overwhelmed and I'm so tired. Like the only time I get me time is super late at night. So I'm like, oh, I could take a shower and I could be on my phone, but then our son sleeps with us. So like when I get up, he like senses me
yeah.
and he's right there. And I'm like, oh, son, please.
You have no time to yourself. You have no time to
No.
yourself. And what I see all the time, and I'm not accusing this of you, but I see a lot of relationships where the man ends up having hobbies outside of the home. They like to hunt and fish and run and golf. And the mother's hobbies need to be in the home of cooking and sewing or gardening, things like that, that keep them at the home. And I really want to challenge everyone listening that whether you are a man or a woman, you deserve a hobby that you should be doing at least once a week outside of your home or without kids present that is not taking care of the family. It is simply because you like it and you enjoy it. Do you
I
have
don't even
any?
know what my hobby would be because I'm like a mom 24/7. Well, that's my
You need
hobby.
one. You need one. And
Yeah.
like I think it's safe to say that to a husband I mean, he loves you, you love him, and we're trying to work this out together and being able to say, look, this is a lot. Having a kid with autism is a lot, and I am burned out. And I had the same experience as you. About a year ago, I started going to therapy, right around when my son was diagnosed. And the therapist is like, what do you do for fun? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, no, like what hobbies, when you have a minute, what do you do for fun? And I'm like, I don't understand the question. And he's like, no, like going and doing something just for you. And I'm like, I'm a dad. I got like an autistic kid. Like I work, that's it. And I take care of the family. And that was homework I had to have. And so I actually was very intense. I never had a hobby like since I was a kid. I think since I've been married, I have not had like a real hobby. And I got into golf. I bought a really cheap golf set and started going to a golf simulator and a golf course on occasion, and worked it out with my spouse that we could kind of both make it work for each other to be doing things outside of the home when we want to. So I want to challenge you to do that, to look at how you can shift the mental load and responsibilities, and how can you make it so that you can have an hour a week of you time, doing something that you enjoy, and have an identity for yourself outside of being an autism mom.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I feel like I've lost myself so much. Like, I don't even know. I see old pictures and I'm like, I don't even know who that girl is anymore. She was so fun.
Oh no.
I know.
Oh
I'm like, now
no.
I'm such a mom. I'm a fun mom. Like, for sure, I'm a fun mom. All my kids are mommy's kids, but I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
who am I
Yes.
individually?
Yes. That experience is so like, I don't know, universal with the autism world, and you're not alone. Please make sure that you join our Facebook group and Discord chat. I don't talk about that enough on here, guys. We have a Discord chat. We have a Facebook group that us autism parents are there. No one's allowed to sell us anything there. We're not allowing anyone in that's going to be offering services or anything like that. It's just autism parents. It's a safe space that when these lives are over, we can continue the conversations. So
I
Um,
love your lives so much. Like I do
oh,
so much
thank you.
research on autism, but like your lives just that's my getaway.
Thank you.
Just like
That means so
listening and
much. That means so much. Have you mostly watched the morning ones, or did you have you tuned into any of the late night ones that I've done?
yeah, I do both. Like
Oh,
I
good.
literally wait for you to get on.
Oh, I'm so glad, Lexi. I'm so glad. Look, I really want you to be able to find yourself, have an identity outside of being mom, and like your kid needs you for a long time. Like this
Yeah.
isn't the only regression he's going to have, and 10 years from now, you still need to be strong.
Yeah.
And at the direction that it's going right now, you're you're not gonna be strong forever.
Yeah. I have two cousins that are autistic. One is like severely autistic and then the other one's like mid, like I don't know, mid, I guess. I don't know how I would put that, but so my family knows autism well, like they don't judge or nothing, but my husband's family, they're like, "Oh, he's sick," or "Oh, he'll be fine. He'll grow out of it," or
Yeah.
"Nothing's wrong with him." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, go away."
Yeah. Yeah, that is oh, that's so
Or even
frustrating.
his school was like, "Well, are you gonna get him another diagnosis?" And I'm like, "What do you mean he needs two autistic? Like, do you not think he's autistic? I don't understand. What are you talking
Yeah, the
about?"
school's funny because they treat a medical diagnosis different than a school diagnosis. And so you can't get if they just have a diagnosis at school, you can't go get like ABA therapy. You have to have a medical diagnosis, and the medical diagnosis doesn't allow you that at school. You can get the school autism services, so you have to have both, which is so dumb,
Yeah,
so
and I
dumb.
had so now I have both. Like I had the medical and the school was questioning me and I'm like, what do you guys see that you think he's not autistic? Tell me. Because he's coming home with bloody fingers from having anxiety and stuff because you guys are not giving him the resources he needs. Like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait,
yeah,
say
I've
that
just been
again. Say
through
that
it.
again.
I've been through it.
Say
So
that
my
last thing that you
son,
said again. Yeah.
he when he gets like anxiety, he'll bite his fingers and his nails and they like the
Oh,
cuticles and his nails and he comes home with like bloody fingers.
oh my
Or like his
gosh.
glasses, he has glasses now, so like they'll be so bent up. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So
Oh,
stressed. I know.
that makes
What
me so sad.
services are they providing your child at school?
So he just got on an IEP last week, and I've literally applied 3 times for 2.5 years. So last week he got on one, and they're gonna do occupational therapy, and I think speech they were gonna do too. Those two things.
Do they have a paraprofessional who's going to work with him?
That's what they said, but like she doesn't stay with him full time because he's not severe. But he does have a para.
Do Are they going to offer him breaks in between time? So these are the things. I'm sorry,
No,
Lexi. I
I'm new
just
to
jumped
this.
in.
Please, I could use
Um,
all the info.
Sorry, my son was in the public school system. I recently pulled him out last week because they weren't providing any of the services that he needed. They said he didn't need occupational therapy. They only gave him speech and they weren't consistent with the speech. And then on top of that, his IEP had no accommodations at all whatsoever. So my best suggestion would be look into what accommodations he needs to make sure that you put those in the IEP, because the IEP is it's like a contract. It's something that they have to follow. It's against the law for them not to follow the IEP.
Okay.
And I think it would be very beneficial for him if he's over, because he sounds like he's overstimulated
Yeah,
for what
definitely.
he's doing. So they need to give him breaks in between work, and
Somebody
that's
on
what the
the street.
paraprofessional is there for. So when he
Okay.
needs those breaks, she can take him to walk, or she can take him out to kind of stretch his legs, or do whatever it is that's going to help him to not be so overstimulated. And I think that's a very important thing that you have to look at in his IEP when you have that meeting to because there's going to be a meeting where they're going to tell you in his IEP what they're thinking of giving him or doing or whatever. And that's going to be the meeting that you're going to want to bring all of these concerns up to, because if not, then you'll have to wait till they can do another one. You have to request one in writing, and it's a whole thing. So yeah, since he just got approved, I would definitely suggest looking into that.
Oh, I will. Okay. And then how
Lexi,
do I know if like they're doing it? Like they're doing their part. I mean, I just have to kind of just gamble it.
they have to keep records. They have to
Yeah.
record everything that they're doing on it.
Okay.
And so did you say he doesn't have an IEP yet?
So he got approved last week, and then we have to have the meeting for like set goals.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a hard meeting. By the way, when you go into that meeting, prepare for like my first
Tissue
IEP
and
meeting.
stuff. I cry. I'm a crier.
Oh, you're going to cry. What they're going to do is they're going to go through all the data and talk about how bad your kid is and how like behind he is. Just prepare for that. That's
That
how
meeting
those
is
meetings go.
very difficult.
They go through data and they say, look, he's in the bottom like 2 percentile for this, bottom 10 percentile for this. He's not doing this. We need to work on that. And then like the teachers are amazing. I mean, special ed teachers are incredible, but it can be overwhelming. And in my last IEP meeting, I had to tell them like, hey, look, like I'm going to ask that we don't go through this data. Like you already sent it to me. I looked at it. I'm aware. I know where my son's struggling. Can we just jump to the goal setting and positive part of this meeting? And we did.
Okay, yeah. And it's so hard because I feel like with autistic kids, like a parents, all we talk about is the good in them, because we see so much like good, and so like I like, or in my defense, I talk about all the good in Cash. Like I don't talk about any of the bad really, just because he has the biggest, like I know we don't have favorite kids, like, but he really is my favorite. Like I would have 10 of him for sure.
I love
He is
that.
just the best. But when like other people do, I'm like, hold on, wait. There's so much good.
Lexi, are you a part of our Discord group?
I'm not.
You should
Hop
join, because
on
I put
there.
resources in there for family advocates. So these people, the family advocates, they are the ones that will go to the IEP meetings with you, so you don't feel so alone. And
See,
they
and
can
I
help
didn't
you
even
advocate for him, for Cash.
Yeah, I didn't even know about like advocates or any, like I guess I'm still new to this. I've done so much research, but I'm still, I guess, like just on autism in general. I didn't know like about laws and stuff until I reached out to his occupational therapy or therapist that he had before, and she was like, "You need to get an advocate." And I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know this existed." Here I am alone going to the meetings,
Yeah,
crying.
it can absolutely be helpful. Um, Lexi, I appreciate you can come up here anytime. I appreciate you being here and thank you for following. We still have a little bit of time left in this live, but there are a lot of things I still need to get to. Do you have any last thoughts or comments that you want to share with people before we move on to the next topic?
Nope, that's it. Just thank you to all the moms and you for all the advice. Oh, it really helps me, and I don't feel alone.
You're amazing, Lexi. Thank you for coming up here.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. All right, you guys. Rosio, hello. Thank you for coming up. We're going to have a conversation in just a minute, Rosio. Destiny, it's good to see you up here as well. Sorry to ignore your question on YouTube. I'm going to actually catch up on YouTube real fast because that was a promise I made that I'd read all those. And then Rosio will jump in and have a conversation with you. Rosio came up a couple nights ago, and I told her to come during one of the morning ones. It would be better suited for that kind of conversation. So to catch up on YouTube, let's take a look here. I've been told by family members to just make sure that I treat him normally, not differently. Katie Bowman, I think there's truth to that, but it's also not actually how that works. Like, you need to assume competence. You need to love your child like you would anyone, and in some ways treat him normally. But where support is needed, I give a lot of support and parent my child with autism very differently than I parent my other kids. Every child you parent, it's going to be differently. All right. Do you think getting reevaluated is ever necessary for a child who was originally diagnosed level 3? I personally feel like he's able to get the maximum amount of resources at level 3. But do you think there's ever a situation where reevaluation is necessary? Destiny, they I don't know if anyone's run into this, but some insurances require a diagnosis every 5 years to be able to maintain like services like ABA. The other thing to consider though is I have never seen services be denied or accepted due to the level. That's not, and I've had hundreds of services be approved for people that I have like personally looked at, and level was never the thing that was brought up. It was being on the autism spectrum or not. And so I wouldn't be protective over that level to guarantee services unless there's something people know that I don't of levels impacting services. But it's still legal to, like, there's a lot of psychologists that don't even assign a level. What they're looking for to approve services for insurance, it needs to say F84.0 autism spectrum disorder. The stuff that comes after that, whether they say level 1, level 2, level 3, or anything else, doesn't impact your ability to get services. And Destiny, if you have more questions on that after I catch up on YouTube, we can chat. Cozy Home says, have you explored the possibility that autism symptoms may often be linked to gut health and bacterial overgrowth, and whether supporting the microbiome with things like insulin could help some kids? By the way, I really like how you talk to parents. You are a real person with a heart the autism community needs. Keep up the good work. Cozy Home, thank you for saying that. That's really kind. And there's interesting stuff with the gut health. We do know that there's a slight increase in gut health concerns with kids with autism. We do know that. However, the treatments for the gut health to address autism symptoms have not been able to pass randomized clinical trials. In other words, the supplements and detox services that are often recommended or diets have not been able to show improvement in autism symptoms beyond simply like not being constipated or basic GI issues. And so it's still recommended, instead of going and paying for these expensive like oat tests or anything like that to see the gut health, that's not widely accepted in the academic nor medical autism world. Those are considered more fringe things to do and still experimental. And there's not strong evidence that recommends that, and it's expensive. Like going and doing the oat test, it's like what, $500 or something to go and test that, and then you have to buy a bunch of supplements after, and to not have successfully gone through any randomized clinical trials showing that it's effective, it's definitely not something that you need to be spending time and resources on.
Can I just say something about that?
Please, Destiny,
because it just really gets under my skin, because almost, what does the matter, baby? His brother's taking his toy.
No.
Majority, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it confidently, majority of us have gut health issues. Majority of us have absorption problems because we live in America and our food is disgusting. Even your blueberries and your strawberries have growth hormones. Yeah. So no, there's no correlation between gut health and autism. Most kids have some sort of gut issue because of the food that we eat. So it's just like to assume that, hey, if we fix their gut, everything's going to change. There are plenty of neurotypical kids walking around and neurotypical adults that are walking around with gut health problems that don't have autism or autistic traits or stimming or whatever else. So the whole gut health thing is just, if you're that worried about gut health, go check your own gut health, because it's probably awful.
Yeah, absolutely. Nutrition is so important, but that's a separate conversation than supporting people with autism. So Destiny, thank you for that input there. Destiny, am I seeing this right? Did I see the other day, I looked at your profile and you have like 30,000 followers.
Okay, hold on. There's a story. There's a story.
What is going
on here,
tell Destiny?
There's a story behind this, okay? So this profile that I'm using used to be my dog's profile, and he went viral. If you scroll down to the very bottom of my page, he had like 8 million views. Everybody followed him. What? We no longer have the dog, so I was like, well, I mean, it's already monetized. I might as well just use it as my own. So he had like 25,000 followers. Yeah, so it started off as that he's a pit bull, and he was very ticklish. Like, he'd make this screaming noise. He sounded like a screaming goat, and it just went viral. Everybody loved him, and so we ended up with a bunch of followers on this page.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing,
Yeah.
Destiny. That makes me so happy. I might need to go and browse your profile and check out the viral dog videos. I love viral dog videos. You kind of have to. All right, a couple more comments here over on YouTube. Advocates are very expensive. This was commented back when we were talking about the school stuff. How do you select an advocate? I don't know if Destiny or Lexi, if either of you guys have experience with this. I know in Utah, there's the Utah Parent Center, and my understanding is advocates are free if you go through the Utah Parent Center. But if you find a private advocate, it can be expensive. I don't know. Have either of you guys utilized an advocate before?
So I don't know about the school because we're not there yet, and we do plan to homeschool him. But I know that there are, and I kind of brought this up in a live before, and I've had a better chance to look into it. But there are things called autism doulas. They're like autism coaches.
Yeah.
And for example, you'll pay them XYZ dollars to support you all year long. They'll go to all your appointments. They'll come to the house if he's having sensory problems, and they can bring resources. Like I said, they'll go to appointments and kind of advocate. So that may be something to look into if you're having trouble finding an advocate. That may be something that you're interested in. I just don't know as far as the schooling route, how that works.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's a good point. All right, you guys. Rosio, thank you for your patience. You are muted, by the way. So we haven't heard you yet, Rosio. But if you're still on there, I apologize. It's taken us so long to get to you. But I wanted to bring you up so that you knew that we were going to be talking to you. So are you still there with us, Rosio? You're on the live. You just have to hit unmute, and then you can talk to us.
Oh, hello.
Hello, there you are.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm
You're gonna
glad
need
to
to
be
start
able to
over
talk.
because we have a lot of people here that weren't here the other day when you talked to us. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you have going on.
Hi, my name is Rosie, and I live in Houston, Texas. I have a daughter. She's been diagnosed with autism last year on May 2025, and she's my second daughter. She's 4 years old, but I never thought she was like that because she don't gave me a lot of like a lot of things to think she was autistic until because she was at daycare. She did potty train very good. So out of the sudden, she started lining up like toys, and she was a little bit aggressive. She have autism with behavior problem. That's what the doctor told me. Like
Remind me how
she
old
get
she is
mad
now.
easily. Huh?
How old is she now?
4 and 20 months. She's gonna be 5 in June the 9th.
Wonderful. And remind me, where are you at? Where do you live?
We're in Houston, Texas.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's
And I've been doing everything by myself. Everything, listen to podcasts on YouTube, and I find out about you like a month ago. Since then, every day I go to bed late. Even I wake up early to get ready the kids from school because I listen to everything you said. The other ladies on live and talking to you. I take notes. I research. I do everything, and I've been doing. I can say it, even the doctor told me wonderful, but it's very stressful. Sometimes I cry so bad, and I ask myself, why me? Why her? Why us? And I don't get it, but it is what it is. And I know it's not vaccine because my oldest daughter, she's very, very smart. She's in GT classes, like advanced class. And sometimes, I can't help her because I have a baby who's 7 months old and a baby who's autistic. And she do her homework by herself, and sometimes it's very difficult. And I tell her all the time, I'm sorry, I cannot help you.
yeah. Tell me about school with your 4, almost 5-year-old. Because I think you
Oh,
have a question about that, don't you?
Oh yes. Oh, when I start school on September, I didn't want to put it, but the doctor told me you have to do it
Oh,
because I was scared. But at the daycare, they didn't want her. But I think the lady was so nice with me. She didn't want to be rude. Said, "I don't want your daughter," but she was giving me like flags, like saying, "No, I don't want your daughter." But I'm understanding. I told her just give me time, like 2 weeks. So I put my daughter where's my daughter and the same school. They gave me help. They want me to take my daughter, but I do a lot of research. I went back, I talked to the principal, and I say, if you don't want my daughter here, you need to write it in a paper saying that you don't want it because I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm gonna call the channels, everyone, and I'm gonna ask for help everywhere. I say, but my daughter
wow.
deserves the same education like everybody else here. I say.
Yes.
So, and I was screaming in front of everybody, was coming back in front. Everybody was looking at me like I was crazy. And I have an accent, but and I'm sorry, but they understand me because since that they treat me very, I don't know how to explain it. They don't mess with me no more.
Oh, that makes me so happy. So this was the school trying to say that they couldn't handle your kid, right? And
Yes,
you fought back. You fought it. You didn't take look. The schools know that they're limited, and they try to scare parents and say, "Hey, look, I think it's better that you just keep them home." Legally, they can't do that. Legally, under IDEA, our children have the same right to education alongside neurotypical peers. They have the same right to education, and the school is responsible to find a way to make that happen. And you didn't buy into what they were saying, and you said, no, you guys have to figure this out, and we deserve better. And I mean, you were that voice of passion and protection for your child. Good job.
yes. Yes, and now that I'm here, I want to ask the parents if they have the same problem like their kids. Like my daughter, sometimes if she's eating and a little bit of splash of water or juice spill on her shirt, she take it off and start crying. She said, "Sure, sure," like she want to change it. And I try everything. I don't know what to do. That make me very frustrated. Sometimes I cry and she look at me when I'm crying because I said, "Leah, it's okay, calm down." I do everything. She knows a lot of things. That's why I never thought that she was like that. But she have like she get mad easily for no reason, and like if you, like she's very sweet and nice, but if you bump to her, she would come back and hit you. She think you are attacking her.
Yeah. Wow.
So their sensory, all of their senses are heightened by like 10,000. Their hearing, their touch, their taste, their sound, everything feels so much for a child. If I get something on my shirt and my shirt's wet, it makes me feel icky. I can't imagine how it makes him feel. And he's the exact same way. If his shirt gets wet or if it feels too tight or we're outside, he gets dirt on his pants, we have to change him. And that it
Yes.
is a part
But then
of it. But
changing
one
my
thing,
son is the same way, but changing him then also causes another panic
upsets him.
because then
Yes.
all the other parts are being disrupted that was calm.
Right.
And so, oh yeah, it's
If your child is into music or like singing of any kind, make a song. Like we sing to him while we're like taking off his clothes and putting on his pants and try to make it fun. And if it's like a true sensory meltdown, like I can't handle this, we just started doing this with him and it's helping so much. We squeeze his arms and his legs. Like we just start at the top of his arms and squeeze all the way down, like pulses.
Okay.
And
Okay. Thank you. I would do that. I
deep
didn't know that.
pressure, yes, deep pressure seems to give like a really good sensory input and it calms their nervous system. So like when he's in the middle of a meltdown about something, it kind of redirects their mind and it kind of calms their mind for a minute. So that may be something that would be helpful.
Okay. And now one more thing, my daughter, she knows her alphabet, her color, her shapes, the animals. She knows a lot of things. And they told me the teacher that she's smart, but they have a problem. They always saying me like red mark, like she's bad. I don't know. And I told one day, why you always saying me this? I told the teacher like that in the meeting, why you never saying me, oh, she do this good? Why you always gotta send parents like negative things, same good things, so we can, like, that will motivate me more to help my daughter. But you always saying me, red, do you think that's nice? That's not nice. I said, of you, I understand she do things, but at least saying me a week she's doing wonderful, and then they start doing it now, because I go and I told them, because that's very frustrating for me. I said,
If the
told
only
me
input you
she's
get is
doing good.
negative, like, yeah, that's a terrible thing to feel about how it's going for your child. And a lot of times they probably just weren't even thinking about sending over the positive stuff. I bet there was a ton of
Thank you.
positive stuff to comment on, but they only focus on the hard parts.
It sounds
And
like
my
you're just
daughter,
comparing your child to their neurotypical peers, which isn't fair.
Yeah.
When your
yes,
kid is in a public school and they're in a classroom with neurotypical kids and a teacher who doesn't specialize in special needs, they are writing those reports as if your child were neurotypical, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. And then we had the I forgot how they call it, the IP meeting, because they do the evaluation on my daughter. They say she's autistic with what else they said. And they said the she's good. They only have behavior problem with her, like any other kid. I said, sometimes we go to the park, I don't see she attack other kid. I don't know what the other kids do to her to make her angry. That's why she do things, because she cannot express, but she have a lot of vocabulary. And the teacher one day hugged me and said, she's gonna talk, be patient, because she know, like, her wants and her need. Even the psychologist said she's very smart. She know exactly what she needs and what she wants, but she cannot put together like a lot of words, only like two right now. When she sometimes hear the baby say, "Mama, baby crying," like that.
You seem to be such a good supportive mother, and thank you for coming up. You said that you brought up your accent. Where is your accent from? Are you born in the
El
Houston area?
Salvador.
El
El
Salvador?
Salvador.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I'm being here 10 years.
Oh,
It's
I love
because
it.
my mom helped us fix our papers, so we came here for a green card. So my first baby, I was pregnant and was born here, and we've been here, me and my husband. So we never went back. I was a teacher at El Salvador.
Yeah, I love that. And I don't know what autism services look like in El Salvador, but I'm sure that
Oh,
you're
really bad. This
oh,
is
I'm
over
sure
here.
you're
We
grateful
bless,
to be
and I
here.
know
Yeah.
sometimes parents complain because of that. But if you don't know your rights, you know the book. Every time you go to the IP meeting, they give you. I'm reading that, and I promise to myself I'm gonna memorize that like you memorize something. Like, I'm reading it. I read it in Spanish, in English, whatever I understand. I go back to the page in Spanish and I write it down. Because when I go to those meetings, I don't stay quiet. I go back and forth with them. I go back. I say, no, put accommodation, do this. And we going back and forth. I don't stay quiet. They don't like me. I swear to God.
Rosie,
You can see it.
you probably know our rights better than we do.
Yeah.
Do
That's
you know,
amazing.
Rosie,
That's so
that they
good.
have a BIP in her IEP?
Excuse me? Can you repeat that?
A behavior
Do
plan.
you know if they have a BIP? It's a BIP. It's a behavior intervention plan. Do you know if they have that in her IEP?
Yes, they did. They didn't want to put it on her. And I said, that's very safety for my daughter and for everybody else. I said, because you're telling me she do this, she do that. What's the support you're going to give her? And there were, the principal wasn't there. He didn't like me. He's a Black American guy. He looked at me like he want to kill me. I said, are you okay, sir? And he looked at me, yes, I'm okay. And I go by myself. I don't take nobody.
You
And
might
sometimes,
you might need to look into, if they don't want to do the BIP, you might want to look into an advocate.
no, I already
help
had
you.
that. I already
Oh, okay.
had that behavior plan. Something she have how you call that in English? A score, like yeah. A score. Someone go with her all the time. And she has someone. I fight for that, and they give it to her, because I was reading in that book. It said, if you gotta protect your child since they little, because if you let it go in 3 years, she's gonna get older and she's gonna get in trouble, and it's gonna be hard. So I make sure she have it, since right now she was in pre-K. So I make sure she have it.
Okay. Yeah, I was just bringing it up because there's a lot of people that don't know that you can get a BIP, and the behavior intervention plans are specifically made for children who have behaviors to be able to get more assistance. And if she has a BIP, you might want to find out if they're following it, because if they keep sending you red notices, why are the red notices being sent if she should have if she should have somebody with her at all times? That
No,
person
that
is
was
supposed.
before we had the IP. That was last
Oh, okay.
year. But this year when we went to the meeting, I took my note when I took my book, and with days and with the days and the month, everything, they were surprised, and I give them a lot, and they want to have me like translation. I said, no, if we have translation, it will take forever. I understand. If I don't know anything, I will tell her. But right now we keep going because this meeting is faster, I told them.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, it is about time for me to hop off. Rosie, I have loved talking to you. You are such a powerful advocate for your child. You're a good example. You sharing this story has made a lot of the people watching this feel empowered to stand up to schools when perhaps their children are not getting the supports that they need. Thank you for coming up and sharing. Do you have any last minute thoughts that you want to share before I
Yes,
drop you?
I want to say something before we hang up, and I want to tell all the parents, please don't stay quiet, because I see the other day one teacher was talking to a parent very bad, and she speak very good English, and I said, if you were talking to me like that about my child, ooh, with that English, you wouldn't be back and forth. And I look at the lady. I say, why? They know they speak very very good English, and they let them talk to them like that. When I go, they don't do things to me like that no more.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Fight
much
for
for
your
sharing that.
grandkids and take them to the therapy, because it's a lot to do. And trust me, I see my daughter very good now. The only problem is her sensory when she get wet and the behavior. But I'm working ABA and I'm calling everywhere. And sometimes I go and I show up and I tell them, do you guys take this Medicaid? And they told me, no, I go to a different, because, I call. But everybody needs to help their kids. Otherwise, he's not going to get better, or he or she.
Yeah. Rosio, thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you. Thank
Have
you
a
so
good one.
much.
Kylan, I knew it.
What?
I was
Yeah,
like,
why did you ask that? Where
well,
did
I
that
was sitting
come
here
from?
when she was getting like real fired up, and you were just sitting and smiling. I'm like, he's been raised around women. Like either he had a bunch of sisters, or Brooklyn trained him well.
That is so funny. That is so funny. Yeah, I have 4 sisters and no brothers, and yeah, I was raised
Poor
around women.
Kylan.
I think a lot of that has fired me up for like my advocacy around like women and autism that I talk about a lot. Honestly, but that is hilarious. No one's ever spotted something like that and called me out.
My
for it.
husband is the only boy of all sisters, and his grandmother lived with him, and his mom. He was in a house full of women, and you can definitely tell.
I spotted it. I just never said anything
Oh,
because
that's
I was
hilarious.
like, yeah.
I'm like, he tolerates the feisty women really well.
really well.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh,
All right, y'all. I'm gonna try to survive until bedtime. Kylan, I'll see you at midnight when I get up to pee.
Yes. Please, when you get up in the middle of the night, I love how like 11:30 for you is middle of the night. Like that's,
Look, my kids go to bed at 7:30, and I'll like pick up and shower, and I'm in bed by no later than 8:15.
oh my gosh.
So my eyes
I
are
love
shut before 10 o'clock. So I get up, go to the bathroom at like 12, and I see the notification that you're live. I'm like, oh my gosh. I take advantage of every amount of sleep I could possibly obtain.
Mama, you have to take advantage of the time that you can sleep, because if you don't, it's all bad for us.
Guys, I had no idea that it was daylight savings, and I went to
A
bed,
mom's worst nightmare.
and I oh my gosh, it's terrible. And I got into bed, and it wasn't bad. It was like 11 o'clock, but my mind was wide open, and it was like, yeah, I couldn't stop thinking, and I started looking at pictures of the kids, And I don't know if you guys ever do that, but man, I was just feeling all the feels and nostalgia of my kids growing up. And I put together like a cute video of my son with autism. And next thing I knew, it was like 2 a.m. And so I go to sleep and my alarm goes off. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is early and daylight savings. And so Brooklyn fell asleep pretty early last night. And so she had me sleep in. I went back to bed and slept until pretty late. So
what's funny is I do that same thing. But I usually do that on the days where like my kids frustrate me the most. All day long, I'm like, go to bed. I am so sick of this. I'm going to lose my mind. And then they go to bed. I'm like, oh, look how cute. And I'm looking at baby pictures. And my husband's like, you were just throwing them in the bed 2 hours ago. Sick of them. I'm like, well, they're still cute. They're just cuter when they're sleeping.
And I miss them.
Way cuter when they're sleeping.
Yeah. And I like last night, every night I'm religious, so I pray until I fall asleep. And last night I fell asleep at like 9. It had to be before 9 because I was laying there and I was praying. And I feel bad. I have prayer ADHD really bad. Like I hop from one topic to the next and then I fall asleep and I'll wake up. I'm like, did I get through that? Did I get to pray about this? Let me start over. And then I do that and fall asleep again.
So you're praying until you fall asleep usually.
Yeah, I've been doing that since I was a kid. So like when I stayed with my dad, I would always like get him up in the middle of the night. I'm like, Dad, I can't sleep. And he was like, just say your prayers. You'll be able to fall asleep. So like I just do that every night until I fall asleep.
Yeah.
It works pretty well. But I usually don't make it through and I never know what I actually got to pray about because I just, like I said, I pray until I fall asleep.
Oh, I don't do that, but I definitely pray. That's a good way to do it.
Well, I find it's the only time of the day where like my brain gets to be quiet is when the kids are in bed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is the only time of day I really get to like check off all the boxes and make sure that I'm like, praying intentionally and not just like sometimes I'll get to do it while I'm driving, but most of the time it's loud in the car too. So
yeah.
Can I say something that's probably gonna make a few of you upset?
Yeah.
I live in Arizona, so we don't have daylight savings time.
Oh my god.
Oh. Yes.
I think daylight savings is a scam. We need to get rid of it.
I hate it. I
Yes,
moved
we
to
do.
Arizona.
It was horrible when I lived in California, and I was like, I have to wake up an hour earlier to go to school. Forget this.
Yeah,
like
Everyone's
I'm
like, we
done
get
with
an extra
it.
hour of sleep. Not if you're a parent.
No.
No, because they see the sun at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they're ready to go.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's terrible. And usually I plan for it and I see it coming and we like see it a week in advance and we start prepping our kids a week in advance and we're like, okay, like 10 minutes different every time, every night. And then finally it's like a gradual change that we do for our kids, our babies. But we totally forgot about it. And I didn't realize it till this morning that it was daylight savings. And so, oh my gosh, what a mistake. What a mistake.
There's one more thing I wanted to bring up while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my in-laws have expressed like wanting to be more involved with the kids. And this is not just towards them. This is just like in general. Because you Kylan, you talk about like your village and if something were to happen, you have people that you would trust to leave your kids.
Oh yeah.
How do you obtain that trust? Because like the thought of leaving with anyone other than my husband just like terrifies me because I'm like, he can't tell me if something happens. And I like, it's not to be offensive towards any specific person thinking that they would do something, but how do you feel at peace when you leave? Because I don't want to drop my kids off and go on a date and the entire time I'm just thinking about what's going on with my kid and if they're okay.
Yeah, we've been very selective. And it does make it so that it's not like we still don't have it to where we can leave as much as we want to. Like I would love for it to be better, but we have several people that we trust that are family and that are incredible with kids. And I think we probably are just a little bit over trusting. But yeah, we also we have 4 kids. And so it's not just taking care of our kid with autism or our daughter with autism, but all 4 of the kids. I think it's helped though as well that my 10-year-old is incredible. Like I would trust him with my life. He is so honest. He is so responsible. And I almost would trust him to take care of the other 3 kids. But he's not quite there yet. And so it helps a lot to have him. And anytime we drop the kids off somewhere, we're able to be like, okay, Remy, like you are in charge of like making sure everything's going smooth. You know how to help. And, you know, in a couple of years, I think I'll fully trust him to watch the kids. Like he is very
That's awesome.
responsible. Yeah.
I think it's harder leaving kids with the older generation because they're so stuck in, well, we did it this way and my kids were fine. Congratulations, like your children survived incredibly unsafe environments, but when you know better, you do better. And we have education today that tells us those things are not okay.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
They come in and I've had family who, you know, kind of similar experience to you of saying like, yeah, if they're at my house, it's my rules, and we spank kids here. They're like, okay, well, that's not where we're gonna
not
be.
leaving my kids with you.
Yeah, that's I can't.
Another thing that you can do is if you feel like maybe take baby steps. If you have like cameras in your house, maybe ask them to come watch them for an hour or 2 while you go do groceries, and then you can watch them on the camera at your own in the own comfort of your own home and kind of see, like, give you that peace of mind that there's nothing that you wouldn't want going on with your children there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That can be like something that, and you know, you don't have to tell them about the cameras or anything like that. I wouldn't tell them about the cameras because you don't want them to act differently, but just give them a little bit of time, 1 hour, 2 hours or something like that. Just go out and grab a coffee with a friend, or, you know, just go out and grab some groceries, you know, actually go and walk through the store. And that way you can build trust with your in-laws, with your in-laws, to being able to trust them enough to take care of your autistic child.
Yeah. I told him, my father-in-law, I was like, I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, you scare me. It makes me nervous. And he was like, well, I wasn't the best parent, but I'm getting a second chance with the grandkids. And I said, no, your grandkids aren't your second chance. You don't get a second chance. You don't get to reparent. It doesn't work that way. Your only job as a grandparent is to protect them, support them, keep them safe, love them, give them ice cream, let them stay up late. Like, those are grandparents' responsibilities, you know, but everything else is not a second chance, you know.
How many kids do you have, Destiny?
I have 2. We have Hudson, and he's going to be 3 in July, and we have Brody, who will be a year in June.
Oh, yeah.
I had 2 under 2 for a very brief amount of time, so neither one of them can tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's it looking with Brody? Is his development going okay?
So I think I'm paranoid, to be honest with you. Because this is going to sound terrible, but I think we have enough autism parents in here that might understand this, especially if you have multiple kids. I don't feel like I got to completely enjoy Hudson's first year because I was watching him actively miss every milestone. He did not, I mean, literally from the day he was born, he didn't lift his head for months. It did not matter what we did, what we put in front of him. I started noticing things immediately. He started hand flapping at 6 months. Like, I knew immediately.
Yeah.
So I was actively watching him miss every milestone, and I didn't get it to really enjoy when he was doing things. And with Brody, he's doing everything. He's pulling up, and he's only 8 months. And Hudson wasn't doing that until almost a year old. And so he's doing amazing things. He's sitting on his own. He's eating all these great things. But this week, he's started hand flapping a lot. And I'm like, is this like typical? Is he copying Hudson? Because he's not, at first I thought, okay, he's just copying his brother, but now he's doing it when Hudson isn't around. I'm like, okay, is that a habit that he formed? It's like starting to, I'm like, okay, but he's not missing milestones, but it's hard to not, I know, it's hard to not look for autism in your children when you have a child with autism.
Thing. I mean, we know that if we have one kid with autism, the chances of having another are a bit higher. That shouldn't deter us from having kids. But like, it's the right thing to do to be looking for it. But hand flapping alone is absolutely not autism. Like that does happen with all kids. And so, And it's also hard to be neutral about it. Like I would have such strong feelings with my daughter of like, oh yeah, this is absolutely autism. And then the next day it's like, oh yeah, I'm just overly sensitive. Everything's okay. And you really just don't know. Yeah. How old did he say Brody is? 1?
He's 8 months.
Oh, he's 8 months.
He
Oh,
he
yeah.
responds to his name every single time I call his name. He responds, and that's something that Hudson still does not do, and he's going to be 3. So like I'm always like, my husband will catch me sometimes. I'm always like testing him during the day. I'll say his name to see if he looks at me, or if he's got food in front of him, I'll put it in a weird way to see if it bothers him, or I'll splash water on his face. I'll just do all these things to see if it like bugs him. But other than the hand flapping, I'm not seeing anything yet. He's hitting all of his milestones. He's responding to his name. He babbles and he makes great eye contact.
In the next month to 3 months. So from 9 to 12 months is when they usually start pointing and looking where you're pointing and things like that. I don't know if he's already doing that, but that's something to look
He is looking where I'm pointing.
Really?
He did that yesterday. For the first time.
Yeah, that's big.
So that was huge because Hudson still doesn't do that either. So I'm
he's fine. Yeah.
And even if it sounds bad, but it's like nobody wants their child to have autism. And when you have one that has severe autism, adding another one would be pure chaos, but you would also go through the grieving process all over again. Because when Brody was born, I was like, this is my chance to get to experience the mamas and the I love yous and the smiles and the eye contact and all the things that you hope for when you have a baby that I didn't get to have or haven't yet got to experience with Hudson. And so like, if he were to be diagnosed and it would be like grieving all over again.
Yeah.
So,
It was weird for me with my daughter getting diagnosed that when she started regressing, that's when we started grieving. And getting the diagnosis, it's weird. I don't feel a thing. Like I don't feel happy. I don't feel sad. It's just neutral. Like it's like, okay, like now we have a direction. But I feel like for me, it was because I already went through some of that grief when she was regressing, and I'm like, okay, like, I don't know. But the first one, like it hit me hard to figure out that my 3.5-year-old has autism. That grief it hit me hard. Anyway.
I think it hits hard when you hear it. Like I said with Hudson, I knew from the time he was 6 months old that he had autism. But then I got the diagnosis, and I was like, the only reason that we got the diagnosis was so that he could have resources. Like we already knew. But I remember getting the mail, and I was sitting in my car and like reading through it, and I was like looking for the diagnosis portion or whatever. And when it said autism ASD level 3, it said needs what was it? Substantial long support. And I was just like, I sobbed, and I was like, this feels like I just got stabbed, because then you start thinking long term, which isn't healthy because there's nothing that we can do other than support them right now. But then we cut it up. I put it on file with our pediatrician, and I made a copy of it so that we could have it digitally if we needed it. And then I made a paper snowflake out of it because I was like, this is stupid. It's not important. We're gonna make fun with this. And we made a paper snowflake out of it, and that was it. We got rid of it.
And do you feel like he's changed his levels at all? Do you feel like he has showed progress to the point that you don't think it's level 3 anymore?
I'm going to be honest. I wasn't expecting a level 3 diagnosis, but I had not been around neurotypical kids enough to see how severe it was. So I do think he needs quite a bit of support, but we don't see food issues with him whatsoever. We don't see behavioral problems, no hitting, no aggression of any kind. So there are a lot of boxes that he does not check, but the stimming, you can hear him stimming right now. That's been constant for the last couple of weeks. And he, like I said, he doesn't respond to his name. He's completely nonverbal. He may say a word here and there, like if he hears it out of a song. So, I mean, I think the level 3 diagnosis is safe now, but I wasn't as educated on autism when he received his diagnosis as I am now. But I also know that he's being evaluated, and this goes for everybody. Your child is being evaluated on what their needs are on their worst day.
Yep.
Because your child may wake up one day and they may not stim all day. They may not hit you all day. They may say a full sentence, and then the next day it's a complete disaster. So your child is being evaluated on the needs that they need on their worst day. I can't say that in 5 years from now he's not going to be in kindergarten or first grade with his peers and excelling. I don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know.
I hope, but I think the level is just kind of irrelevant as long as he's getting services.
Yeah, it's all about the services that they get and the trajectory they're going. You're doing great, Destiny. And guys, I need to go get my kids up from their naps. So I'm going to end this live, and we'll see how I do tonight. Maybe I'll come and you'll see the exciting side of me of having some controversial conversations with people. For those of you in the chat, if you are here, let me give a little bit of a rundown of what we do here. We go live every single day. Usually I go from noon Eastern time to 2 p.m. Eastern time every single day. Sundays, I go a little bit later like I did today. But please make sure that you hit right there where it says follow so that you can see next time I go live and you can participate. In the mornings, it's very supportive. We talk to people, parents going through a hard time, happy times. We cry together, we laugh together, we answer questions. In the evening, it's more advocacy. I talk to people who disagree with me. Some of the things that I am pretty firm on is that vaccines don't cause autism. I don't think that detox can reverse or support autism. I don't think that we should prioritize diets to address gut health to change a child. I believe that children with autism belong in the school alongside their neurotypical peers in most circumstances. Those things, like I have evidence behind them all, but I also like to have meaningful conversations with people. And so if you want to hear some of those conversations, if you feel like it'll trigger you and be kind of unpleasant to hear people, I get some people on with very strong feelings that can speak poorly about kids with autism. And I try to address it the best way I can. But you should all just know that it might not be best for everyone to be on that live if you feel like that would trigger you. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here. We are part of this. The night live streams, yep, it's the same channel here. But typically, if I do it, it's not every day, but it has been most days. I go at about 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. I live in Utah, so that's right after my kids are all asleep, and I've had a moment to myself, and then I come down for 1 to 2 hours before I go to bed. So, all right, everybody. Lexi, Destiny, anything else on your mind before I end the live? Anything else you guys want to share or say?
No, I'm good.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you, guys.
I just want to let you know that the moon landing is still not real.
Oh, my gosh. We're going to be on this every single day until I prove
I
you
need
guys wrong.
Amy here.
Wait, what? What?
Lexi and Amy don't believe in the moon landing, and they...
Oh, no, me neither. Me
What?
neither. And
Yes,
No.
thank you.
no, me neither. And Helen Keller wasn't real either.
Oh, no. Oh, my
Since
gosh.
we're on the
Amy-
topic.
Believe us.
Guys, Amy just got here. What? What is this? What is
The
this,
moon
guys?
landing
Destiny?
wasn't real. Helen Keller's not real.
Destiny. Oh, no.
You are never going to convince me that someone who is blind, deaf, and mute flew a plane. And that they landed on the moon years and years and years ago and just never did it again.
See, and he doesn't believe us.
I don't believe you. I don't subscribe to that nonsense, you guys. I don't subscribe to
And you're
that
just going to say
nonsense.
one small step for man. Just say, "Oh my God, I'm on the moon." And why did you never go back? Why have we only gone to the moon one time? That just makes no sense.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
And how
we
is the
didn't-
flag flying? There's no wind. That picture of the flag? How was
That's
the flag
exactly what we
flying?
told him, and he doesn't believe us.
Maybe
And there
they
was a
positioned
shadow
it.
on the flag. How is there a
Yes.
shadow? You're on the moon.
You guys, I don't know how to respond to all of these because I am not educated in debunking
Yes,
moon
Destiny.
landing.
Helen Keller flew a plane. If you truly believe that, if you have no brain cells, yes, she flew a plane.
Okay, you guys can believe your crazy things, and I will stick to non-conspiracies.
I got all
I asked my
kinds of
wife yesterday, like, Do I believe any conspiracy theories? And there are some. Maybe it's not time to get into those right now, but man,
let's chat tonight because I've got some good ones.
Okay, we can.
I might set my alarm just for you.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get on earlier today too, and see if we can have get to the bottom of some of these conspiracies, you guys.
You think Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk?
Oh my goodness, we could start on that one. And by the way,
he absolutely did not.
That happened at the college that I went to, and I was 15 minutes away from where that happened. Kind of crazy.
Absolutely. That 22-year-old one, he wasn't
There's
stopped
some
with
weird
a 30
stuff with it.
6.
There's some weird stuff with it for sure.
He was not with a 30-6. That's ridiculous. And a 22-year-old kid 200 yards away just happened to make a professional. No. And then he just happened to text his lover, "This is where I left my weapon, and this is how I did it, and this is why I did it. Here's motive."
Okay, here's what I want to know. Is Epstein still alive?
Yes, he's in Israel.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yes. That's some that I think there's some weird stuff with. I can get behind some of the weird Epstein conspiracy
his post-mortem pictures, his face is bright red. He's sweating. Like, how dumb do you think we are?
You know what?
No.
I can appreciate all of these conspiracy theories, but I also appreciate that you guys are sane when it comes to research behind autism. So I'll take it.
So you're saying we're insane about everything else?
A little bit, except for the Epstein stuff. You guys are pretty level-headed there, but the rest of this, I'm hearing, man, you guys are out there.
We're the ones that's out there. We're the ones that are right.
We don't know, but we know, and if you know, you know.
Yeah, you guys, I'll put it. Join the Discord or Facebook group. I'll post in both of those right before I go live, so you guys can get notified. So join the Facebook group or the Discord. Put it in the or the links to those are in my bio. We'll put it out there before we go live, so people can see, and maybe we can share some conspiracies tonight. We'll see. We'll see how we do. All right, guys, I gotta go. Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.